One of the good things my father did was he made me get into reading habit.
How is your journey from manager to CFO?
I took that as a challenge.
Let me list the core finance profile. First one, chartered accountant,
CAs are expected to actually advise clients.
cost accountant,
There is something called as bill of material, which is a componentization of the entire product.
company secretary.
Today I see CS complementing the CFO.
What skills or degrees or certifications is required for one to get into that profile? Hello everyone. Welcome to Beyond JD, the podcast where we uncover the real stories behind roles, growth and hiring. For a change, today's episode is for all the commerce students and graduates out there. Even for engineering students who later found themselves curious about finance and are thinking to make that transition. Yes, today we are going to talk all about finance. And to share the practical insights, we have a very special guest, Srinivasan N, Director of Billing at Freshworks. With over 22 years of corporate experience, prior to Freshworks, Srinivasan has also served as the CFO at Hiva India and Shadda Motor Industries Limited. He is also recognized among the top 100 CFOs by the Core Media Group in their 2020 CFO Power List. Welcome, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you for accepting my invite. Very glad to host you here.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity,
Yeah.
Shamila.
Before entering into role-based questions, tell us about yourself, your career journey so far, sir.
Sure. So I would start right from the beginning. I think my childhood and the kind of journey I have had is very unique, and I am really proud of that today because of the various stages in which I have, crossed over. So what happened was, though I am a native of Chennai, I was born but brought up fully in Maharashtra. My father was working in a government organization,
Okay.
and we were in a very rural place in Konkan, and there was no other avenue apart from learning the local language, that's Marathi, and we grew up studying Marathi as our primary language. In fact, the English alphabets were introduced to us only in the 5th standard,
Okay.
right? And then it so happened that after completing my 7th, we moved to Bombay. He had a promotion, and then I again had to continue till my 10th standard matriculation in Mumbai. And so the biggest challenge that I first faced was moving from 10th to 11th into an English medium completely.
Okay.
And it was because I had taken commerce as my choice. I had a lot of inspiration from people studying CA, and I was very good at numbers, and so I chose that line. I joined a very reputed college, Podar College of Commerce, and generally this junior college atmosphere is the best period to have fun.
Yes.
But it was the other way around for me.
Okay.
So obviously, I mean, there were a lot of good friends and mentors along the line. So I picked up very fast. One of the good things my father did was, he made me, get into reading habit. I used to read, at least, 50, 60 books in a year.
Nice.
And, the way that improved my vocabulary and the command over English, that was really useful at that time.
Okay.
So after that, what happened is, once the 12th was over, it was all like dreams of being BCom, CA, and all that. Suddenly, my father had health issues, and we kind of, he decided that they will again transfer him back to the rural place.
Okay.
So he took a bold decision to move us all to Chennai, and he had to take a voluntary retirement. So the situation was that there was no family income for us, and I had a younger sister also. So that way, I thought, this is the time I had to put my entire energy, and then I joined the CA course, and I joined BCom as a correspondence from Madras University.
Okay.
I didn't have an opportunity to take up any college because it would have affected my time that I need to give for studies, right? But those three and a half years were my foundational years, I would say. I think every bit of challenge someone can face in terms of whether it's financial, personal, in terms of emotional crisis. I think I have gone through everything, and with all the support and the kind of mentors I have got, right, I finished my CA by the age of 22.
Oh, nice.
And
Okay.
really, I want to thank all my teachers those times. Every one of them, motivated me, and were along with me for most of the time. And so that's how my whole journey started, right?
Nice, nice.
So coming to your, main our topic, like, addressing students, like this is the point where, one is a journey to get that CA qualification, which is in itself a big effort. But then comes the, real challenge of choosing what you want to do after that. There are so many avenues, right? I also had a dilemma in terms of whether you go for practice, open your audit firm and do something, or go for employment. So one thing that was very clear during my CA journey in articleship and all that, I need to have the foundational knowledge of everyone who works from the junior most level to the topmost level, right? So I preferred joining an industry,
Okay.
and
Okay.
that's how I came into industry. There was a very good mentor who, onboarded me into one of the organizations called TAFE, and though it was a small organization to begin with, but that really gave me a sense of how practicality comes into play once you complete your qualification.
Nice.
So from there, I think the biggest boon, I would say, or the kind of mentoring I have from my parents is keep learning, and my passion for learning, kept increasing every year. So then I went on to finish company secretary. I got all India rank also, and then I did company cost accounting. I wanted to understand what exactly is different in these courses compared to
Okay.
CA,
Okay.
rather than just accumulating degrees, right? So this, but some or the other way, this has helped me in the later part of my career.
Okay.
And of course, I had my interest in extracurricular activity, which I couldn't do in the younger age. So I learnt music. I did, 8 grades from Trinity College, London. So that kept on, increasing my passion for learning, right? So I would say that it's been an illustrious career for me over the last 22 years. I'm still, working on, getting more knowledge. I mean, the kind of role I'm handling now is a totally new role compared to what I've done in the last 20 years. So, one thing is we should not be afraid of taking any new route. As long as your interest and passion is very high, right, you can always get into that and do the best job that the role requires.
Nice, nice, sir. So I could sense the hard work, your efforts, and the importance of mentorship from your journey. Yeah. So you also mentioned that you had a Marathian medium
Yes.
schooling, right? So how did you overcome the language barriers?
True. So, I mean, it used to be, the first 1 or 2 years in Chennai was, something like a very difficult phase for me, because on one side, I knew Tamil as my mother tongue, right? But the way we speak, I couldn't read or I couldn't write. So, there was a situation during one of my audit journeys, where the agreements were in Tamil language. And, I had a team, again, both of them couldn't read, and it was a challenge to complete that activity, right? So I used to kind of learn from seeing some of the texts, and let's say from the TV and all of that letters. I used to try to figure out what it is. And I, in that period, right, I applied every bit of strength I can, and I learned reading completely, and I validated that, and the whole thing got over. And thereafter, it was like, it continued in every other opportunity I got to use Tamil as language. And one thing I understood at that point is, language is a strength,
Okay.
and it's not a barrier. Though it's like challenging in the initial phase, the more you learn languages and other mediums of communication, I would look at it that way. In fact, when I was in the CFO roles in the last few organizations, we used to have manufacturing facilities across India.
Okay.
And obviously, when you have command over languages, you can easily get, what communicated to the people, and you can communicate to the people in a very easy manner,
Okay.
and get the responses also very fast.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I, as I said, I actually worked on learning more languages, and I can now, speak 7 languages.
Oh, nice.
The South Indian as well as some of the North Indian languages. Particularly the Hindi Marathi is really useful when you go to the western part of India, and then obviously when you come down south, you need all the 4 languages, at least to some extent. You can decipher and have conversation, right? So this has been a very good strength across, and I would urge everyone out there to make an attempt to learn. Today, when we are, asked to take another subject, I also learned Sanskrit, by the way, during
Okay.
my journey in schooling, right? And that helped me, or even now helps me in, guiding people on some of the spiritual matters and some of the sacred texts that we really refer today, right? So I would say that's really a, point of strength
Great,
than
great,
that.
sir. Yeah. So you joined as a manager when you like entered into corporate. So how is your journey from manager to CFO? Can you share a bit about that? Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's nostalgic when I remember these moments, because what happens is there's no formula for this.
Okay.
It's like it comes onto your plate, and it's up to you to take up that challenge or not. So when I joined, as I said, I joined as a very very small organization. Like it
Okay.
was an automobile dealership,
Okay.
right? And maximum that you could do is look at situations where you can enhance the process or systems, give your knowledge, right? Otherwise it's like customers coming, buying cars, servicing cars. What happened was, there was a situation where the customers were made to wait for a long time to get their invoices, get their
Okay.
receipts. It happens even now. It happens. I've seen, but I was curious to solve that problem, and then I got hold of an IT guy. I kind of trained him on accounting and finance, and he really was so passionate, and he helped us create one small program which reduced the wait time from 40 minutes to 20 minutes,
Okay.
and it further kept on improving. And that's how then I was suddenly asked to move to a larger unit in Chennai. They noticed this. Again in Chennai, after a certain point of time, I got an offer with an industrial, very large industry called Saint Gobain, and it required a lot of travel, like almost 60-70 kilometers one way, right?
Oh, okay.
And but then the foundation that I got in that organization, learning ERP systems, implementing ERP systems, working with professionals. I have got so many mentors and friends who have been really professional in my journey, and even now I am in touch with them. They have taught me so much in how you apply the skills. You learn everything in CA and all these degrees, but how do you practically apply, right? And speed also matters as you learn, and the speed of understanding and delivering a result matters a lot. So there was a situation when suddenly my controller in Saint Gobain left, and there was no one else to take care. So, and the new controller who was kind of appointed, he was new to the process, and he told me that, hey, I know you have not done this before, but you know the nuances of this particular company, and why don't you help me out? And I took that as a challenge. I used to kind of in the year ends, I used to stay at the company itself for 3 days together. I have not seen New Year Eves for at least 2-3 years during those periods, but working like that gave me that edge to get into the next role.
Right.
And that opportunity really shaped up in terms of how you can take it up and then master that skill, that application of skill. You know how to do accounting, for example, but how do you explain the numbers? What is the story behind the numbers? That happens only when you are put in front of the board or the big
Right.
management team, where you need to reciprocate to what you learnt and make sense of the numbers. So I think those kind of opportunities really, were the major reasons why I kept moving up the ladder. In fact, the next organization I joined, we had a lot of mismanagement that was happening, but nobody was making any noise about it. I kind of, just went into observation mode for a few months, got hold of a lot of points, and made a report to the management saying, hey, this is what is happening.
Okay.
And I don't think we are taking it seriously. And then thereafter, they authorized external audit, and then it was found that there was a large scale mismanagement and misappropriation of funds. Again, that gave me a boost in terms of my career, going beyond. See, many times the role calls for certain X number of activities, but when you think that you can add value by doing this additional stuff and picking up, making linkage to what your role is, right? that can become a big asset to you, and it gives you the boost to the next role. Every organization I can recollect that there was some or the other thing. The next organization I joined, very reputed group, but then we had a situation where 2 years of data was not at all put into the system.
Okay.
And huge value, right? Something like 500, 600
Yeah, yeah.
crores. And I was really amazed when I joined that how did you manage so far? And the CFO there told me that we struggle with resources. Right now we are doing it. And I said, see, let's not delay this. Give me a couple of people. Give me all the rights in the ERP. And it was somewhere around October. And generally, the March is the financial year end, right? So I took over the entire details. I started visiting the plant to understand what kind of construction is happening, what are the costs we have incurred. Went into the manual registers and security gate registers and all this, right? You will have to step into every bit of work that is needed and cannot remain at a position and just say I will only do this, right? So that really, within February, we got everything into the system, and the whole team got so happy, and the auditors were really happy, and we scaled up from there. So that again was that opportunity that I got.
Nice, nice. Actually, I could sense a growth mindset.
Yeah, learning and growth
Yeah,
mindset.
mindset
Yes,
in you.
correct.
Like you welcomed, you were ready to take initiatives, the accountability, and also you welcomed the challenges.
So just to add one or two stories, right? So as you said, when I was a manager till another e-commerce organization, and then thereafter I had a situation where I had to move to a different place from Chennai. I moved to Hosur, and there, as I said, there was a role on legal side than finance side. Because I did my company secretary, I could use that skill.
Okay.
Again, a completely different domain, right? So I had to start from scratch. Rather than using my experience or skill, I had to again start from scratch. That opportunity again gave me, another strength in terms of how do you negotiate contracts, how do you, take care of the liabilities of the organization, and large deals, right? Very large players. I'm talking about really big players out there, and there is very less scope of negotiation. How do you handle these things? And then how do you relate it to financial rules? And in this organization, I kind of grew from, I had the legal role, then I was given the finance shared services role, then again moved on to handling FP&A or the reporting, global reporting, and then eventually handling all these roles, I was given a chance to become a CFO of a
Okay.
unit. And that's how this whole journey had very at least some 30-40 moments of such which I was describing. I will just recall one for you. I mean, there was a time when GST was implemented in India. It was chaos across, and we had to go live on a particular date. Everyone took some break, like 1 or 2 days of shutdown, and then start. But we were into a automotive manufacturing, and then it was just in time production, which means you will not be storing too much, and you will have to keep manufacturing and sending it, right? So the leverage was very limited. So I was part of that project team and leading that from the functional side, and we were like very close, and we did everything in our control to on the last day. I mean, the next day morning it has to go live, and the last day at around 12 a.m. in the midnight, we get a message saying there has been a wrong export of patches into the system, and it is throwing all wrong taxes. And when I checked with IT and other people, they said it's impossible to do this. We'll have to take couple of days time and get this done. Then I went into why is this can't be done? What is so? They said there are authority levels which are beyond our capacity. They are sitting in France. They are sitting in US. I said let's call them, let's see what we can do. And somehow frantically after an hour or two, we got hold of them, and they understood the situation. They authorized some of the reversals that could be done at the levels of people who were working with me. And by like 5 a.m. or something, we were again back to the original state, and we had another 3-4 hours of work. We continued, and we saw that it was throwing correct results, and we went live by around 11 a.m., which was like 12 was the target. We went live by 11 a.m.
Nice, nice.
And in fact, the whole 24 hours we were working there that time. And I think that was another moment, right? So where you exhibit the quality of resilience and working towards the result. right? Process and other things can always be augmented, but result, if it's in your mind what you need, right, you can keep aligning your resources accordingly.
Let's talk about the core finance profiles first, sir.
Sure.
So let me list the core finance profile so that you can explain us what the profile is about
Sure.
and what skills or degrees or certifications is required for one to get into that profile. So first one, chartered accountant.
Absolutely. So I think chartered accountancy is one of the best courses to take up for any finance commerce graduate or even a 12th pass, right?
Okay.
So all of these there are three professional courses: the chartered accountancy, company secretary, and cost accountancy, right? All three are, like, from India's point of view, these are the best finance courses. So when you come to chartered accountancy, right, they are the they are the accountable accountants in this whole country, certifying most of the matters, and that requires, and the investors gain confidence because of the certification from chartered accountants.
Okay.
So the kind of examination that happens or the testing that happens is quite rigorous. So here how it happens is you are given two options. One is, once you clear your 12th, you have to write an exam called CA Foundation. It has about 4 subjects, and you'll have to score 40% in each subject and an aggregate of 50%, which means you can score 40 in one subject, 60 in another subject. Overall, it has to be 200. There is also negative marking here. These are all multiple choice questions. So once you clear this, right, you get direct entry into the CA course, which is CA Intermediate and CA Final, two further stages. If at all you are not able to do this, then you can do your graduation, complete whatever, BCom, BSc, any kind of graduation, and then with some minimum marks like 50% and all, you can gain entry into CA course.
Okay.
So now comes the real part. When you join the CA Intermediate, you also have to attach with a chartered accountant or a firm of chartered accountants where you do articleship. Basically a practical training where you will be sent on audits, you checking, and then also learning a lot of stuff during that period. You'll also be working on some of the report preparation, communication skills, etc. And you are allowed to appear for the intermediate exam after, say, 1 year of articleship. And then once you finish your intermediate exam, again in intermediate you have two groups, 6 papers, and the same pattern, right? 40% in each subject and 50% as aggregate. And I have seen many times students get, like, let's say you need 300 to pass, you get 299, but you'll have to write again all the subjects.
Okay.
Right? So that's the catch here. So the way that test happens, the challenges are really quite interesting as well as challenging for anyone who does take into a CA course, right? Then once you complete the intermediate, that then comes the final course. Again, this is more practical testing of students, like how practically they are able to apply concepts. So we talk about tax, income tax. Many people look at the budget, see what is the tax rate, but CAs are expected to actually advise clients in doing tax planning,
Okay.
to understand what is the purpose behind every tax provision that is out there. So then the practical application becomes very interesting, and final student level students are expected to do that. Again, 6 papers, again you'll have to go through this, right? So sorry, 8 papers, and you have to go through this. So then you have the same marking criteria, 40% and 50%. And once you are, the day when you get that CA final pass, right, that's the day every CA student
Feel
feels
accomplished.
nostalgic, and that accomplishment is that takes you, that opens a lot of doors for you once you have that CA degree. And I would urge that whoever aspires for CA, they should always have some complementing course, something like a company secretary, MBA, or cost accounting, just to keep them motivated on various subjects. Or you can always focus and finish CA and then join other courses.
Okay.
So what CA specializes is more on the accounting, controlling, and tax laws.
Okay.
Okay. Now when we talk about others, so let's
So the
say
next one is cost accountant.
cost accounting. So in manufacturing industry, right, we look at every product as one big product, right? Let's say a mobile phone, but it has so many small parts, right? Every part gets a certain manufacturing process, goes through a certain manufacturing process, or is bought from outside. So, cost accounting focuses on how do you control these costs and how do you build up that product cost in the whole scheme of things.
How to aggregate different components cost?
Yes. So there is something called as bill of material that we use, which is a componentization of the entire product. So, for example, when you talk about a suspension, it has about 150 parts, which we will not even know from looking at from outside. So there is that cost accounting skill that is required. How do you interpret a certain cost? And there are differences between financial accounting and cost accounting, in a sense how you look at the cost. For example, I am renting a place, right? And I am storing a lot of goods there. So this rental cost is basically looked as the cost of storing the goods in cost accounting, and it's like inevitable for you because you cannot sell without having the storage.
Right.
Whereas in financial accounting, it's just another administrative cost. It's below the gross margin. So those are certain things. I will not go too much technical into it, but I think cost accounting is something very close to people who get recognized for CA. Manufacturing industry needs cost accountants. They also study subjects on accounting, tax, etc. I have seen so many good cost accountants becoming CFO and reaching top positions, even becoming the CEOs, business heads. They have this cost accounting qualification because their thinking is more deeper. They go in detail into the process and they can understand what is adding value. One of my colleagues used to say, cost is nothing but a decision you made some point of time. If I look at it, any cost for that matter, it's related to a decision that you made at some point of time. So very interesting course. I think it's much more easier. Again, similar pattern. You will have to get into foundation or intermediate. I mean, they call intermediate and final. And there the practical training is not that rigorous as CA. It's a normal 1 year internship that you need to do, and that's also a good option for commerce
Nice.
students.
So I feel it's like more of a role which works on cost optimization.
Yeah, and management accounting, like how do you interpret for example, I cannot just look at the P&L or balance sheet, but if I am told, hey, you are making a return on investment of so much percentage, now I make sense. I invested $100, I get only 5. So that's the ROI, right? So that's something, a specialty of cost accountant and management accountant.
Nice. Company secretary.
Yes. So as I said, company secretary, again, it closely aligns with these two, but the focus is on law or legal subjects. So every corporate is subjected to a law called Companies Act, and across the world, right, there is a different name, but it's all driven by the corporate laws that govern the setup of body corporates or companies. So this course specializes in studying the company law, understanding what are the compliances that need to be managed, and how you need to ensure. For example, a CFO cannot remain without understanding the corporate governance principles. If something goes wrong on the compliance, we have seen so many companies coming into the news for not following, guidelines, the board doing a mismanagement. All of these are corporate governance areas which a CFO or any top finance guy needs to understand, right? So, company secretary focuses on this. If you have a good understanding of theory subjects, you like reading law, you like lot of vocabulary, your vocabulary is good, and you have a good sense of words that are used. It's about interpretation. When I say, there are terms like, you say notwithstanding. What is notwithstanding? But in the law, right, when you say notwithstanding, it means without having effect of anything else. You do this. That's the kind of sense you need for getting into company secretary. All other subjects, again, similar, accounting, your tax, everything is there. And today I see CS complementing the CFO roles. I mean, someone who has both CA and a company secretary, right, they can ensure a complete corporate governance along with the financial due diligence responsibility. Though there is a mandatory company secretary required in certain companies, you can play both the roles in certain organizations. And this is again a very good path. Here they call it foundation, executive. I mean, they call it executive entrance test instead of foundation. And then you go to executive course and then the final course. So final has about 9 subjects, right, in CS. Again, 3 different groups, and they concentrate specifically. One concentrates on corporate laws, one on accounting and those, one on taxes and management topics. So again, someone who is liking commerce, right, they should look at doing all this.
Okay.
When I was in my 12th standard, I used to go to one of the professors for accounting. He always used to tell me, you always aim for 4 minimum qualifications: CA, CS, CMA, which is CWA passed, and MBA, all of them, right? And if you are aspiring to do an MBA, which is more towards how do you run the business, how do you supervise the business, do it from good premier institutes. That
Okay.
will give the sense of how to manage in the corporate world. Okay, somebody, we generally see many people doing MBA finance, but it's not that way, it's not recognized that much as you do it from premier institutes. But when you have it's combined with CACS or CMA, that adds a lot of value for people working in India.
So you told about the regulations, right, sir? Compliances and regulations. It differs across different industries, right? So all the industries will be covered, or each one has to take a separate course for each industry or domain?
No. So when it comes to corporate laws or the
Okay.
company, right? So the largest type of entities we see in India is called body corporates or companies, right? So other than this, you have individual businesses, sole proprietorship,
Okay.
or you have a partnership firm. These are not part of the corporate laws.
Okay.
But when you study CS, right, you are also required to study Partnership Act and some of these other entity setups, which helps you, advising those clients also.
Okay. Okay.
But governance, when it comes to compliances, it's more significant, and I would say pretty much towards protection of public interest.
Okay.
That's in case of the companies, because the stock market, right? Unless you are a company, obviously you cannot issue shares and you cannot list it in the stock market.
Right.
Today, the larger public is investing in stocks.
Okay.
And for them to have faith in the system, to ensure that whatever numbers they see, right, they are actually true, and there is a board or the management who is making the right decisions behind this, it will ruin their money that they have invested. So to protect that public interest, corporate governance and the mechanisms like corporate laws and the SEBI governance rules, these are in place, and CS in a best position is in a best position to.
Right. So the last one, CFA, Chartered Finance Analyst.
Yeah, so CFA, so similar to CFA, right? There are many international courses
Okay.
which are also similar. So CA is kind of equivalent to CPA, Certified Professional Accountant,
Okay.
in other countries like US and Australia. Similarly, you have CMA, which is kind of CMA here, that's Chartered Institute of Management Accountant, and then you have CFA, which is more towards focusing on how do you make money on the investment market, the treasury subjects, or someone who is interested in multiplying the money, right? Or every market we talk about, money market, stock market, your investment banking, all of these people, CFA is a good way to get there. If you are really strong in numbers and you are interested in valuations, mergers and acquisitions, how you create value when you combine entities, CFA is a good course, and they will be able to understand the various techniques of valuation. Again, CFA requires a lot of effort on the studies, and there are institutes which are duly recognized for CFA, and you must have an acumen towards a future vision for that organization when you work
Okay.
on CFA.
Okay.
Right, so that's so these are some courses: CFA,
Got it.
CPA, CMA. ACCA is another option. Like UK has a similar chartered accountancy kind of course called ACCA that can be done even in 1 year, but that again requires a lot of work in terms of understanding these subjects.
So you explained the foundation of the finance profiles very well. So now let's move into the finance operations roles,
Sure.
which you're currently working in. You're currently working in a SaaS company, like heading the finance operations, right? So what does a finance operations team do? Like
Okay.
why an organization requires this team?
Okay, good question. So basically, as I said, core finance, they sit behind the organization. They look at protecting the interest of the organization. So compliance, accounting, reporting, controlling, and in terms of the tax and other benefits. But there is a front end team, which is like sales and
Okay.
all your marketing, all your product and engineering teams who are sitting at the front and driving the organization's growth, right? Now, there has to be some bridge between these teams and these finance teams.
Okay.
That comes as finance operations.
Nice.
Sometimes you also call it as revenue operations, sales operations. There are three different ways of looking at it. Finance operations is more specifically towards the moment a salesperson, is done with his deal with the customer. From there till the time the collections happen and you recognize the money as your payment received from customer, it's called the order to cash process. That's part of finance operation. There is also a role called the FinOps, which takes care of the cloud costs. Right,
Okay.
today many of the organizations have moved to cloud. And there are so many applications you use. So you, if you know, similar to SaaS, there is also IaaS, PaaS, which is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service,
Yes.
and software as a service.
Yes.
So all of these are predominantly used in almost all these organizations, IT and product-based organizations. So a team which looks at this cost along with product and engineering. Similarly, in OTC process, you have a heavy engagement with the sales and the front-end teams, right? So something like what I do today is, we are part of a team called Business Desk, which is, takes care of the process right from configuring a deal for the customer, doing all the legal validations, getting the contracts done, and then activating that subscription for that particular customer with all the financial requirements in terms of payment, in terms of your tax IDs, and whatever setup is required for the subscription. And then it moves on to the collections team to collect that money once you invoice it. At the same time, sometimes it's advance payments. There are online transactions also. And then after all this over, then it goes into accounting to the core finance. It translates into the accounting. Then in terms of your accounts payable and all these roles in terms of FP&A and financial controlling. So all this goes into the core finance. So this is a kind of a bridge between your front end teams and your back end teams.
Nice. So can we get in detail about the end-to-end process flow, sir, which the finance operations team cover?
Yeah, so I'll talk about order to cash process.
Okay.
So you call it as O2C.
Okay.
There are similar roles like P2P, procure to pay, and also on accounting, record to report. So when it comes to O2C, right, the moment you place an order, the customer places an order, from that point of time till the collection, all the process is handled here. So what happens? A customer looks at the product, goes into some trial check and everything. Once they are ready to go ahead and subscribe, they place an order. That order gets a form of a contract where there are commercial terms. You have the arrangement in terms of how many months or years you will be using that subscription. And once it is signed off, then it comes to the finance billing teams where they look at this customer setup and go and configure that customer, entering all the details that are relevant in terms of what plan they are using, what is the number of licenses they have subscribed, and the tax and other particulars. And once you do this activation, and then it syncs with the product back, and it activates the subscription, and then the customer can have access to it. After this, the customer account has sometimes when there is a payment that is receivable after few days, 30 days, whatever, that sits as a customer due, and there is a collections team that monitor this and collect those payments. And whenever there is a delay or any follow-up is required, there is a notice that is sent to customer. So once the payment is in, it means the transaction is completely over. That's the O2C process.
Nice. Okay. Okay. So let's say someone is working in back office data entry roles. So let's say they wish to enter into some MNC finance operations teams. So what are the entry level roles available and what tools they need to be aware of?
Sure. So someone who is interested in getting into finance operations, right? They should have a good communication skill first of all,
Okay.
because collaboration is required between your front end teams and the back end teams. So you are sitting there as a bridge, right? Your communication has to be really good. Second, there has to be a acumen in terms of how do you link the financial transactions with your business in terms of what are the offerings of the product, what way this translates into your income, financial accounting, and then towards the collections, right? So entry level roles include in all of these functions, like
Okay.
someone who is good at understanding legal can get into order management, deals desk, those kind of roles. They configure contracts, they work on helping the customer design the contract, the sales
Okay.
team design the contract.
Okay.
Then there are roles on the billing,
Okay.
where you understand the financial, you have a financial background or you have flair for the financial calculations. So you need to understand how this order has to be booked into the system, what is invoice, what are the tax implications, and then in terms of any changes that you make to subscription, how that if there is a suppose someone wants to cancel it, so what is the mechanism? There's something called credit notes. All of this need to be some of the basic knowledge for this role. Then there's also a billing support role where customer keeps asking some of the other queries. I am looking at my outstanding statement, I don't understand this particular invoice. So then the member who is part of that team has to go into that account, find that invoice, understand the calculations, and explain to the customer.
Okay.
So that's another way of getting an entry. And then there is the collections team or the account receivable team. There you need to have, again, communication becomes very important. You will be talking to the customer, the way you follow up, how do you ensure that the payment is collected on time. There are sometimes targets also in terms of how much you collect in a quarter, all these things. So your flair for getting follow-ups and getting the follow-ups done and getting this money, that someone can get into receivables role, right? So basic accounting plus some of these other skills
Got it.
will help them get into any of these roles.
Okay. Can you specify few tools in ERP like accounting and billing and invoice? Like, can you specify few like most used tools which one should be aware of?
So when it comes to billing, there are tools like Zora, you
Okay.
have ChargeBee,
Okay.
you have various other billing platforms. There are various other tools.
Okay.
Similarly, in case of Deal Desk, there is something called as Deal Hub. There are contract management solutions that are available. When it comes to AR receivables, you have something like high radius numbers. Stripe is also another tool because it's all online payments, right? How do you get that payment in? You would have heard Razorpay becoming very popular. That's again a payment gateway,
Okay.
which gets customers payment and then translates into our account. So these are some of the things that they can learn, or even that can be learned. If it's an entry level role, they can learn on the job also.
Okay.
The idea is whether you are able to make a synchronization between the tools and the actual transaction, how it works, how it maps, and you play that role, that's good enough. Once you get into some mid-size roles, obviously some experience in these lines will definitely help. You understand what is order, what is a contract, how do you account, bill, what is billing. All this will help in subsequent roles in mid-stage and later growth stage.
Got it, sir. So now, like technology is rapidly evolving, right? So professionals in finance operations role, how much they should be knowing the technology?
Good.
So
Yeah.
yeah, does it make sense in their career growth also? Like,
Absolutely, this is bang
okay.
on. Like, because today I keep advising all people whom I met, whom I meet during various conversations, upskill yourself in terms of tech.
Okay.
AI is the buzzword everywhere. I know AI is not fully in its form. There are a lot of places where it started blooming, and eventually it will be a stage where most of the routine manual processes will be automated, right? Where there is no application of mind, where there is no analytics. All this will obviously get automated. Where there is a clear rule and formula can be applied, it can be automated. So someone who is studying commerce and these courses, they should also understand what is AI, at least the basics of AI, how it can enhance you. For example, today everyone uses Excel, Word, Microsoft. There's also something called as Microsoft Copilot that has been given, which is an AI tool. It helps you. You have a complete spreadsheet. It will help you, create analytics out of it. You don't have to spend. Somebody who takes 7 days to prepare a report can prepare in hours.
Right.
But that's something anyone can learn. That it's not a big technical thing to learn, right? It's more like usage of another tool. Similarly, you have Gemini, Google Gemini. It helps you get a lot of insights. See, it will evolve eventually. I think in the next couple of years, someone who upskills themselves, in using these tools, how they can, make a better version of their delivery using these tools. Let's say a PowerPoint presentation or a neat analytics report. All this, will help them in surviving in the tech era in the
Okay.
coming years.
How this finance operations role is evolving with rise of AI? Because how AI is impacting this role?
I would say it's not impacting as for example, let's take when I said about order and how the orders are received. There's something called as CRM systems, right?
Yeah.
The CRM systems are well advanced today. They have complete information on customer contracts when they get renewed, all of this stuff. It can talk to the billing softwares. It can talk to the deal creation softwares. So obviously it eliminates the layer which does the manual work in doing this, right? But again, when you say AI is doing all this, but what are the ways to monitor this? How do you use this AI in a right way that you don't make any mistakes or something like principal errors, right? So you need people who are analytically strong, who can understand these numbers and the deals much better. So AI probably resolve your manual workarounds, but then ensuring that there are right controls in place, ensuring that the right form of output is delivered. You have multiple. So if you put something in ChatGPT and then you put something in deepfake, you get different answers.
Yes.
Again, everything is true, but what should be used? In what measure it should be used? That's the job that someone has to master at. Then the FinOps role will come down to those people who understand this, can interpret, use these tools, and get the delivery done with a good analytics and insights, right? So asking AI to do something is also a talent.
Okay.
And
The
that is
prompting.
something, yeah, that prompt. I mean, what exactly you want, that knowledge will come only when you kind of understand the whole process
Okay.
and understand the impact of that particular activity, which is going to be useful for your management or as an industry, right?
So, hearing all this, I sense someone should have a strong interest in analytics, also management, the business, to understand the
Understand
business.
the business, absolutely. I mean, don't just do something as a mechanical
Okay. Okay.
report, right? Understand what it means, what is the story behind that numbers, where is it coming from,
Okay.
what are the linkages, and that's where you will know tech better, where it is tech driven, where it is workforce manually driven, right? Then you will be able to understand how I will make impact. Let's say this whole process does not talk about something on how many people will cancel in next 3 months. Why can't I enable that using AI? Thinking on those questions, that will help kind of stay live in this whole tech era.
Yes. Right. So, analytics plus business plus technology.
Yes.
Yes. Very nice. So, what are your other tips for someone to grow in their career? Let's say someone is joining financial operations team as an associate.
Sure.
So, what we spoke about core finance profiles and also the technology which required. What are the soft skills which one required to grow in their career?
Again a very important
Okay.
point, right? So
Okay.
today, what differentiates between a candidate who gets recruited and the candidate who doesn't is the soft skills predominantly.
Okay.
How do
Okay.
you communicate? How do you present yourself? I have interviewed numerous candidates. It's a era of online world, right? After COVID, though, it is fully online. So when you have an interview, how do you present yourself? The way you dress up, the way you come in front of video. I've seen people taking it on mobile, moving here and there and attending the interview. You spoil the impression, right? So you'll have to take care in understanding what is the purpose. Interview is something. understanding that person's talents, the attitude, and the way they want to grow, right? It cannot happen if you don't give the right platform and the right messaging in the interview,
Right.
right? So I think soft skills are really important, not only at the entry stage, even every stage you grow after that. How do you communicate? Resilience is the biggest thing. Like somebody who gets affected, so you would have heard that every organization has some grapevine communications, rumors. People get worried, get disappointed, get depressed. All that has to be avoided. First is, today's generation, they should have patience. They should have patience to wait for things to unfold rather than push something and make a preempt move, right? So that's first advice I would say. And then, how do you distinguish yourself between the others? Like how you focus on your communication skills, understand how you play out your attitude. Let's say your manager is in a bad mood today, and he's asking you to do multiple things at a time, and the natural reaction would be, I can't do so many things, or either there, or that person will go to someone else and start saying, manager gave me so much task today, how am I supposed to do all this, what kind of this thing is. Avoid all that. One simple, are you on your track, on your passion or journey? Your passion is to attain some goal at the end of your, let's say, 10-20 years of career. Are you on track? Are you doing the right thing? Are you loving the job that you're doing? Then do it despite these bad days. You will have to handle these bad days. Ultimately, you will reach the goal with that resilience. It becomes, you become more stronger. Tomorrow, you can handle much bigger problems. The moment you start defending and you start getting, giving excuses that, why should this be done, then you are limiting your growth. So that again comes from the strong mindset,
Okay.
having a good mental IQ, right? And the equilibrium, I would say. Never get too excited, never get too depressed. You
Nice.
have to maintain that balance. And best thing to do for that is have good mentors who
Okay.
keep guiding you. That helps, navigating these phases.
Okay.
So I think
So how
soft
should
skills are.
one choose a mentor, sir? Like
Okay.
their managers or
Oh, no,
outside
no, no,
also?
no.
Huh,
No,
huh.
it's not, you not a formula,
Okay,
right? So,
okay. Huh.
you would have seen, I think they should give themselves a lot of opportunity to talk to many people.
Okay.
There are platforms like LinkedIn, TED, there are so many other good professional platforms. There are events that happen. We should be participating in these kind of seminars, events, understand. There will be a spark at one point of time. You will understand, hey, this person is someone who can give me good guidance,
Okay.
right? Who will understand my passion. Then you start filtering and you choose.
Okay.
Many times, sometimes you are lucky enough to meet one at the right in the start of your career, right? Sometimes you do it in the way, on the way you get someone, and once you know that this person, is going to be my mentor, start working with them. Start understanding what are their uh, rules and how they are asking you. What is the guidance you are getting? What are the steps that? I mean, having a role model and having a mentor is two different things.
Got it.
Okay,
Okay.
role model is something that like you aspire to be like that person. I like a Sachin Tendulkar, I like A.R. Rahman. That's the role model. When it comes to mentor, right, mentor will never force you to be doing something. Mentor is someone who will understand your best skills and advise you to use that in the right way.
Bringing out the best in
Correct.
oneself.
And
Yeah.
the right measure of usage also is very important. Somebody who runs very fast, for example, I cannot ask them to go to Olympics straight away. No. First, practice, work on fitness, work on what other things to be done, and then you get ready for that role. Someone who is doing a certain role has a potential to go to that role. That has to happen in a phased manner. They have to learn certain skills to get there. Just because someone is mentoring them, they cannot tell them saying that, hey, you straight away apply for this bigger role in some other organization. No, it will not work. You will rather fail and kind of get depressed. You have to give that patience and a good attention to the techniques taught by mentor.
Nice. Okay, sir. So, one important question in this unstable market. So, lots of companies are facing budget constraints, and there are lots of layoffs happening across industries and companies, right? So, How do you see this layoff? How does it affect finance operations team?
Okay.
Yeah.
So before going to finance operation, I'll tell you one thing. India is in one of the best positions in the world.
Okay.
Whatever layoffs happen, whatever technology comes in, there are going to be opportunities in this country.
Okay.
We are growing to be a superpower nation, and there are enough and more avenues that are going to come and open up. So first and foremost thing is, if some things happen like this to you, don't lose your confidence. Start growing horizontally. Don't always look at vertical growth. Horizontal is someone who can translate from a core finance to a like finance ops, or finance ops to sales to finance ops. All this horizontal movement is also relevant.
One should
So
be open to make those
exactly,
horizontal
yes,
movements.
yes. So then what happens is, the layoffs and these things are more specific to a certain role or a
Right.
certain industry. How flexible you are in getting into another role or industry, that will support you. So when you are having a good time at your work, use that personal time to upskill on these sides. So I think India is definitely going to be a nation which will have good opportunities in different verticals. So once you have this horizontal upskilling, you can always jump roles which are not that may be your first time. Sometimes people ask me, okay, if I go into some other new role, I will have to start my whole career there. I will tell them, okay, what you would have done now? Suppose you continue here. No, maybe in another 2 3 years I'll get a manager promotion. Okay, I'll tell them, you go there, spend 1 year of time. Someone who takes 5 years to learn to become a manager there, you will do it in 1 year, because your experience is stronger. You have always already gone through a ladder in corporate world. Probably you have to sacrifice another 1 year, and you get there, and then you become automatically eligible for the same manager role within 2 3 years. What difference does it make? That confidence, that particular vision someone needs to have when they get into unfortunate situations like layoffs. They should be open to learn and move around. I have seen engineers, I have seen scientists, science people coming to commerce and shining really well. I have seen engineers taking this finance domain, and in fact, one thing I appreciate in them is they have that ability to ask why every time.
Yes.
Right? We as commerce students are more like, we are given to understand something. We are given to understand a rule, and we need to go by that, right? But these people, they always ask why I have to do this. But that's the right way to learn also. And someone who can give them all the answers, they should keep, that's like a mentor, right? Who brings the best in you. So I am saying, never fear about changing your domain or roles. As long as it excites you, have the fire in you, your passion remains to make something positive for this world, I think you should do it.
So you mentioned that one should not fear about changing domain, right, sir? So how much does domain-specific knowledge help one? Like, uh, one should grow as a generalist or a specialist in a specific domain. Like, if someone wishes to grow as a specialist in a specific domain, is that a added advantage to them?
It could be,
Okay.
but there is very limited population who are able to utilize this in the same way.
Okay.
So there's a saying, jack of all, master of none, right? I would advise that. Become a jack of all. Not an issue if you are not a master of something.
Okay.
If at all you are a master of something, ensure that you are jack of some other 2 3 things.
Got it.
Otherwise, there is always a possibility that your domain or your particular industry is not needed anymore. Someone who was working as a camera industry in the past, once the mobile cams came, it's all gone, right? That particular technology is out. Similarly, there are chances that every tech will change. So don't be very much restricted in a particular domain. Do the best. You can be a master of one or two things, but have some other things where you are a jack of those 2 3 things.
Got
Right?
it. Yeah. Okay, so we have reached the end of the episode.
Sure.
So, if you want to tell one closing statement to our audience,
Okay.
so what it would be?
So I would say that success is not final, failure is not fatal. It's the courage to continue that counts. It means that don't get too much excited about some success and that I have done everything. Don't get worried because of a failure, but keep continuing. That courage and confidence will take you to the goal that you want. That's it.
Nice, sir. So thank you so much for sharing your insights so far. I hope many audience would have learned so much from you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Shanmuga. Thank you for this opportunity, and I really look forward to this episode. And anyone who wants to reach out to me for any questions, I'm available on LinkedIn, and my contacts are also available. Thank you, Shanmuga.
Yeah. Subscribe to Beyond JD YouTube channel so that you don't miss when your favorite role is covered. Thank you.